I was banned from the USA. I was banned from the USA. I was. Yeah, I'm going to stop singing that. Anyways, what is going on? Canadians being banned for any reason or trying to find reasons in people's history to ban them from crossing into the United States of America. Like I keep telling Canadians, where do we go from here? Luckily, I'm dual citizen. I could just go back to my country of origin. I go back to Portugal. I go back to the Azores. I don't care. But what is happening? What would happen? No, big question is, if something happens in Canada, some sort of social, civil, economic unrest, who knows? Disconnect of continuity of government ceases to exist. What happens to the Canadian proper when they need to get out of their own country? Who would take in the Canadians? And I've been talking about this for years, but it's getting tougher for just the average Canadian now to cross the border without getting the third degree. Canadian baby boomers being banned from the United States for admitting they used pot years ago, lawyer says. You see, scientifically proven that if you used pot, like let's say 14 years ago, and you took a drag and you didn't inhale or something like that, right? Yeah, what happens is this thing starts. I'm being sarcastic. They asked me if I ever done drugs and just told them the truth, says 61-year-old given a lifetime ban. Wow. Banned in the USA. Some 400,000 Canadians across the Canada and U.S. border daily. A Washington-based immigration lawyer says he's noticed an increase of Canadians in their 50s and 60s being denied entry into the United States because they admitted marijuana use in the past when asked at the border. Canadians crossing the U.S. border are being asked different questions about marijuana than they were before cannabis was legal, says American immigration lawyers. So they want to persecute people for the past, not now. That is really American. That's a really American thing to do. Representing numerous aging baby boomers denied entry to the country for admitting they used pot years ago. Recreational marijuana will have been legal a year on Thursday. Yeah, okay, it makes a 1 year anniversary. Sorry, guys, I'm just overexcited with this article here. And it's not the first one we've got in the last month, so it's been like this is the seventh article of along these lines. But any celebrating still stops at the U.S. border, said Len Sanders, a Canadian-born lawyer based in Blaine, Washington. Border guards are not asking questions about recent use because they know they can't deny the person because it's legal in Canada, he said. Instead, he said they're asking Canadians if they have ever smoked marijuana, and that's what's been keeping him busy. A spokesperson for the U.S. Customs and Border Protection Office was not available for comment. Of course they're not. But an official emailed statement dated September 2018 that said U.S. laws will not change after Canada's legalization of marijuana. Oh, man. What about Portuguese? I'm a Portuguese. They decriminalized all drug use, and I think they had no overdoses last year. And then Britain's overdoses was just in around 1,000. But Portugal had like no overdoses, even though people go there to party and have fun in the winter. It's kind of interesting to see how Portugal decriminalized drugs and created dissuasion centers where drug use in Portugal is considered a sickness, not a crime. But it's the only country in the world where drug use is a sickness, not a crime. And the dissuasion centers have been dissuading people not wanting to be sick. Do you want to be sick? No. No one wants to be sick. Dissuasion centers work. Tax dollars on drugs have helped the economy in many ways. The statements said even though medical and recreational use marijuana is legal in some U.S. states and Canada, marijuana is not legal under the U.S. federal law, which supersedes state law. So, guys, remember, because in I think it's Colorado, it's legal. No, that's not the case. It doesn't work like that unless Colorado bordered the Canadian border. Well, in Washington State, well, yeah, no way, that won't work like that. Yeah. Consequently, crossing the border or arriving at a U.S. port of entry in violation of this law may result in denied admission, seizures, fines, and apprehension, said the statement. Border officials are currently compiling data about the number of Canadians stopped at U.S. crossings since marijuana legalization in Canada, but the figures are not available, the statement said. Saunders said he noticed over the past year an increase in Canadians in their 50s and 60s seeking his services after being denied entry into the United States after admitting marijuana use in the past. If it's a prior to legalization and they admit to it, then it's still on the grounds for indismissibility, he said. They say, I did it back in the 70s, hippie stuff. Wow. Ban for admitting to smoking in 2001. Barry Ruff, a resident of Langley, BC, said he received a lifetime ban from the United States late August after he told border officials that he smoked marijuana 18 years ago. Ruff is 61 and was traveling to Emerson, Washington to offer addictions counseling to an indigenous group, but border officials denied his entry to the U.S. They asked me if I'd ever done drugs, and I just told the truth. He said, I didn't want to lie, so I told him, yes, I smoked marijuana 18 years ago. 4 hours later, I was escorted across the border after I was fingerprinted, frisked, pictures taken, and asked 1,000 questions, the same question every time. Ruff said he hired Saunders to help him apply for a waiver to enter the United States. His family has vacation property in Palm Springs, California, and he wants to visit later this year. Oh, you bad boy, you smoked pot 20 years ago. You bad boy! What are you smoking pot for 20 years ago? He estimated the waiver process will cost him about $2,000 US. The cost includes legal fees and criminal record checks, and he is expected to write a letter of remorse for smoking marijuana in the past. Wow. Ruff warned other Canadians could face the same circumstances. Guys, you know what? Hand to God, and I'm going to be really frank with you. I've never tested or tried recreational drugs in my lifetime, ever. I never even experimented. I never cared for it. I rarely drink. I drink once a year. Like, I mean, if they stop me, it was the last time you had a drink. March 2017. I'm just not into the whole alter state of consciousness feeling or not being in control. I just don't like that. I never did. And drugs is just one thing I never dabbled or played with, right? So, but I did get stopped at the American border one time when I was going across. I was going on a road trip down to California, and I was taking my Corvette. And I've done this road trip many times down Highway 5. And the one time they put me in a room and they strip searched me, and they held me for hours, and they just gave me a really tough time at the border. They wouldn't let me. Then they let me through, which is really weird. I thought, okay, fine, I don't care. I'm not coming back here. I'm a Portuguese citizen. I'll just go to Europe. I'll go anywhere. Brazil. I go anywhere I want, right? And I don't have to go to America. But then they let me through. They let me in. They said, okay, this guy's, kosher. Let him through. He's not lying to us. But what was I lying about? That was the whole thing that was scaring me inside. Like, what did they think they had? Or what did I do? So, if you said you have tried it, you are risking going through some process I went through, Ruff said. U.S. family arrested after driving through BC ditch into Washington State. What? U.S. family arrested after driving through BC ditch into Washington State. UK family. I thought it was US family. Sorry, guys. I'm just watching something here on the side of my screen here. I'm re-uploading something here. Something's been wrong with my phone here at the store. Saunders said hiring him is not a guarantee that Canadians will be allowed back into the United States. The waiver process could take up to 1 year to complete, and it's not permanent, meaning people often must reapply, he said. Border guards have vast discretion, says lawyer. Toronto immigration lawyer Joel Sandlock said he hasn't seen many cases where people have been denied access to the U.S. on grounds of marijuana use. People are often not asked, have they smoked marijuana before, he said. The advice we give to clients is always to be honest with officers as possible as can be. If I was in the back seat of a car whispering advice in your ear, I'd probably say at that point I'd rather not answer that question and ask if you can withdraw your application for admission. Wow, look at that, eh? So Canadians are having a tough time, eh? Sandlock said it is possible for border officers to behave differently at different crossings. One of the things you have to remember about border officers, Canadian as well as American, is they have vast discretion when it comes to who they stop, who they search, and who they examine, he said. Canada Border Services Agency said in an emailed statement that it has developed awareness tools to inform travelers of their continued prohibition of the cross-border movement of marijuana. Our message on cannabis is simple. Don't take it in, don't take it out, said the statement. It is illegal to bring cannabis in or out of Canada. Saunders said he anticipates he'll see more clients once edible marijuana products and other derivatives become legal in Canada. Edible. You bad boy. You smoke marijuana. No good. So, yeah, this is a cheap shot by the Americans. Guys, seriously, that's why I don't visit America anymore. I mean, I have a lot of respect for America. I have a lot of respect for the founding fathers. I have a lot of respect for the Constitution and how the American Constitution is what's keeping freedom in a lot of other countries. Because once America denounces or takes down their Constitution, then you're going to see Canada fall into severe socialism, right? And it's not that it is already, but you're going to start seeing huge changes along in the Commonwealth. So America is the one little leader, our little light that we see as, I don't know, the light of the last beacon of freedom we have left. And I don't agree with everything they do, but I do agree with their Constitution and the God-given right to properly express, create assembly until that's gone. I don't know what's going to happen then. Let me know what you guys think. This is getting out of control, and a lot of these people spend money down there, and a lot of these people contribute that are being stopped and asked not to come back. Let me know. Thanks for watching, and don't forget to hit the subscribe button. Let us know about a border story that you had in the comments below. I'd like to read it. Thank you.